welcome to another edition of Old Max Nuggets, a Bryan's heating and air conditioning podcast where we get on here and we talk about common questions that the homeowner might have about their heating and air conditioning. My name is Brooklyn and I am here with Bryan Nacarado, the owner and president of Bryan's Heating and Air Conditioning. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good, Brooklyn. How are you?
Doing well.
All right. What are we going to talk about today?
Well, questions that you or our sales manager could get from time to time, and I know that you do, is why does the coil at the indoor unit and the AC, the outdoor unit, have to be matching?
That's a good question. You know, in years and years and years ago, before we had so many changes with efficiencies and changes in refrigerants, there were many times where we could just replace somebody's outdoor unit and it would marry up with the indoor coil at a satisfactory level. But starting back in the 1990s, as efficiencies began to change, what we were seeing was that some of the older coils just would not match up well with the newer outdoor units in terms of the efficiency of the unit and in terms of the capacity. Then we roll along and now we have a refrigerant change that happened about 20 years ago. And so now we're in a situation where the old coil may be on the old refrigerant. It has a different type of metering device on that indoor coil. So in order to replace that outdoor unit, we've got to do a matched coil inside. The other thing that we run into now is that as efficiencies have gone up, it's very important that we have the manufacturer's rated indoor unit for that outdoor unit. Number one, to get the efficiency out of that outdoor unit, and number two, to get the capacity. And so, for example, when we talk about air conditioner sizing, say a 3-ton air conditioner, well, not all 3-ton air conditioners will match up with all 3-ton coils. Now, in some cases, they're pretty close. But when we get into heat pumps, whole different story. We've got to have the matched indoor coil that marries up well with that outdoor unit, just to ensure that we don't have any problems and that everything's working the way that the manufacturer has designed it to do.
My goodness. Okay, so can somebody save money by just replacing the outdoor unit?
So there are certain situations where maybe the indoor coil is new enough that it will marry up with that new outdoor unit. So in some cases, we can just replace an outdoor unit, but it all depends on what that indoor coil is. Let's say, for example, somebody had their indoor coil replaced 4 years ago and now the outdoor unit has gone bad. Is that coil that was put in 4 years ago going to match up with the new outdoor unit? I will tell you this, when we get into a lot of the upper end, higher efficiency air conditioners and heat pumps, most generic coils are not going to line up well with them.
Really?
And so we're putting in the manufacturer's recommended coil to go along with that higher efficiency model.
So what if you just replaced the coil and the outdoor unit and left the existing furnace? Would that be cheaper than doing an entire replacement? Would it be cost effective, I guess?
Yeah, it kind of depends on the situation. So in most cases, we expect to get longer lifespan out of a gas furnace than we do out of an air conditioner. National statistics, they range wildly across the United States, but depending on which article you read and who wrote the article and how they did their research on it, average lifespan of an air conditioner in the United States is somewhere in that 12-year range. Gas furnaces, though, we see lasting much longer. So there are times where someone may opt to replace the coil and the condenser and leave their existing gas furnace because they still expect that they've got some life out of it. Now, again, when we get into some of the upper end efficiency models, they require a different type of blower motor in that gas furnace. And so there's times when, in order to have that top end model, we have to replace the furnace to get the functionality and the efficiency and the capacity of that upper end model of air conditioner. So it kind of depends on the situation. We're kind of moving into a new era a little bit with technology in our industry. We have some models now that we can marry up a matched indoor coil and a matched outdoor unit with just about any furnace in some particular models. So there's some changes coming about. Seeing a lot of shift in our industry towards how these units function, and kind of taking some of the flexibility of those units and putting into a market where now we have more options to offer people. So it kind of depends on the situation. Now, if you've got a furnace that's 20, 25 years old, probably the best thing to do would be to replace it with the new air conditioning system. But say you have a furnace that's 10 years old, we expect to get some more life out of that. I don't see any problem with doing a coil and condenser replacement and marrying it up on that older furnace.
So it really is just a case-by-case basis.
Pretty much a case-by-case basis, and it just depends on what kind of shape that existing furnace is in.
But our sales manager, he would suggest the best thing for each person in their home or their business, though, wouldn't he?
Correct. Part of what we do when we come out in the sales process is to evaluate what you have and then provide you with options of what we can do to help you solve whatever problem you have, whether it be heating or cooling. And so in that process, there may be some suggestions that, maybe it's time to boot that furnace and let's start over with it.
Get her out of there. Alrighty. Well, thank you, Brian.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Brooklyn, before we get out of here today, I got a question for you.
Okay.
What did the doe deer say when she came walking out of the woods?
What?
I'll never do that for $5 again. Until next time, Olnack out.